backing off. The point of no return, committed. It's over. We're coming for the New World Order. There's no quarter received or given. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Infowars.com. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you, I'm going to continue with your calls. Gary, Ken, Scott, Charles, Christopher, Wiley, John. We'll at least get to those 6 or 7 calls before the hour ends. Aaron Dykes is chomping at the bit with his research about the Bilderberg group. It's just mafia coming in, taking over pension funds, claiming that they're protecting them while they actually loot them. This is big news, and it's all coming up. It's either us or them. They are the top of the pyramid. They're an organized crime syndicate. Everything they do is about looting and conning people while dressing up in fancy suits and acting diplomatic while they do it. But a frequent guest, historian, researcher, good friend of mine, very funny fellow, Webster Tarpley, his analysis is great. His solutions, I don't agree with some of them. But I went to meet Jim Tucker, the guy that first exposed Bilderberg 35 years ago last night. We did a live stream for like 2 hours. And I went to interview him, and Tarpley's at the meeting out on the patio at the restaurant. And he's butting in. Let's talk about Ron Paul. We're not even talking about Ron Paul. So I'm like, okay, I'll get to you in a minute. So in like an hour and a half interview with him, he doesn't want to talk about anything but Ron Paul. I'm going to get him on the radio this week, by the way. Set Tarpley up, Chris, as soon as you can, like, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever when I get back. I'll be back like Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure yet. But he was just flipping out on Ron Paul. And I'm like, look, they stole it from Ron Paul. He won the first few states. He's not in there. He's injecting ideas against the global oligarchy. Frothing. That was a good burp right there. Frothing. And he kept doing, after we got off the air, doing these leprechaun things. And I've got an hour and a half plus interview with him, 30 minutes with Tucker. It's up at Infowars.com. It's just titled Alex Jones Interviews Webster Tarpley at Bilderberg. But at the end of the night, and my phone was so full of videos that when I recorded it, it ended, it cut off the end, but it still is pretty good. It's only 38 seconds long. He was doing these quotes, and I guess Aaron had seen it. I had not seen Leprechaun 5. I hadn't seen Leprechaun 1. I don't watch a lot of movies, folks. I'm into reality. I see some, though. I'm going to go see Prometheus coming out in a few days that we wrote the analysis on at Infowars.com. I only have the script. I haven't seen it yet. Alex Jones Exposes Secrets of Prometheus. If you want to see that, it's online. But I'm digressing, aren't I? The point is, there's no teleprompters here, so it's all real. That I love Tarpley, but I've never seen him veer off into just political talking points to savage Ron Paul. And it was endless demonization of Rand Paul, endless demonization of Ron Paul. And I'm like, well, let's say they're not perfect. Aren't there bigger fish to fry? No. So I wanted to just take on Syria and Iran and Russia and Bilderberg and wouldn't get off of it and kept doing leprechaun imitations. So finally, I got him to do a leprechaun imitation. Turns out he's a big fan of Leprechaun 5. See, we knew it was Leprechaun 5 because Aaron has seen it. And so this is Webster Tarpley. He only had like 2 glasses of vino in him, doing his imitation of Ron Paul. It's titled Ron Paul Equals Evil Leprechaun. It's up at Infowars.com if you want to see the video. But here's the audio. Stay with us.
A friend with weed is a friend indeed, but a friend with gold is the best, I'm told. Ron Paul's program in synthesis.
So he's a devil weed dealer.
Well, draw your own conclusions. If the shoe fits, wear it.
So when did you watch Leprechaun 5?
Are you doing any activism? Lep in the hood, out to do no good. Yes, words to live by. So watch out for somebody who is promising gold.
Webster, tell us how you learned Leprechaun's secret powers.
Actually, I wrote the script.
You wrote the script.
Hold on, guys. We're doing a deep interview.
I wrote the script.
All right, he wrote the script. That's where my phone... Yeah, he says he wrote the script. That's where my phone cut out there because it was so full of videos. It stopped right there. But that's where it ended. And I was just thinking, really, Ron Paul, that's what the mainstream media says. They want your kids on drugs. He calls marijuana, Tarpley does narcotics. I don't smoke marijuana. I've tried it before. Don't particularly like it. I like caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol. I'll tell you right now, though. Do I need to go to prison because of that? Obviously not. The point is that Tarpley went on this tirade about how drugs are evil. We've got to put people in prison. This is how they took over the country. I mean, Goldman Sachs, all these banks have been, well, not even Goldman Sachs. It's Wells Fargo, Wachovia, $378 billion in laundered drug money. Bloomberg, AP. I mean, look it up right now. And just to get at Ron Paul, he's saying, oh, Ron Paul wants to, everybody on weed, and he says gold is good and all this. I mean, just wild. So I thought for Tarpley, we would play this famous remix of when folks thought they found a leprechaun in their tree, because that's as realistic as criticizing Ron Paul and claiming he's an evil leprechaun. So Tarpley, this one's for you. Here it is.
He look like a leprechaun to me. All you gotta do is look up in the tree.
He look like a crackhead. Leave me up. Come on. Yeah. I want to know. Know where the gold at. I want the gold. Give me the gold. He look like a crackhead. I want the gold. I want the gold. Give me the gold. I want the gold. He must be a crackhead. Yeah. I want the gold. I want the gold. I want the gold. I want the gold. Give me the gold. Must be a crackhead. Oh my God. Let's play Tarpley one more time. I mean, just Tarpley at the intro of this, and I know we got serious news and your phone calls and everything, but my God, this is now the attack that Ron Paul's an evil leprechaun. He says, beware those. He says, beware those that say they got gold. And so he says he's a leprechaun dealing weed because he's seen Leprechaun 5, where it's a drug-dealing leprechaun. Here it is.
A friend with weed is a friend indeed, but a friend with gold is the best, I'm told. Ron Paul's program in synthesis.
That's enough. Turn him off. Needless to say, this video has gone viral right now. And some people are mad at me for this, criticizing Tarpley, like this is out of context. No, the whole interview with Tarpley's up there. I mean, it's just, come on. I'm against the drug war. It's a fraud. The bigger it gets, the more drugs are on our street. If you go back 20 years ago, there is 4 times the cocaine and like 6 times the opium now. The old number was 3 times the cocaine, 3 times the opium. It's much higher than that now. The big banks are all caught shipping it in, running the aircraft. They bust little idiots that use it. Meanwhile, they've got all these prescription drugs that are the synthetic version that all these radio hosts are on. They get caught with it, don't get in trouble. Stop it. Areas of Europe have done the right thing and decriminalized it, and drug use has gone down. Stop it. Do I love the whole weed head culture? No, I don't. Has it turned a lot of people into couch potatoes? Yeah. Don't throw them in prison for it. If somebody wants to be an idiot and hurt themselves, that's their problem. I mean, you know, I'm tired of the nanny state. It's only been used to take our liberties. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back, and I'm going to give Aaron the helm to give you an in-depth report. And in the final segment, I'll run through the gambit or gauntlet of other big news we've got out of Bilderberg 2012. We have routed them. Hundreds of newspapers in the U.S. conservatively. I mean, I couldn't even follow them all. Hundreds picked up the Washington Post piece that they never had admitted existed. So all of this is happening. And, hey, there's a shadowy group meeting in secret, government officials. What's their agenda? Aaron Dykes is going to break it down in depth. This won't be soundbite, though. This will be in-depth names, facts, groups. Who are the globalists? Who are the foreign banks that took over America? What are they trying to set up? Because they want to set up a tyranny here in this country and worldwide. Does that mean the Ruskies are good? No. But the banksters are the ones that took this country over.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Aaron Dykes. This is the InfoWars broadcast. Alex Jones live on Sunday. He's been gracious enough to give me a segment, and this has been the biggest Bilderberg meeting of all time. I'm not saying that lightly. On the 60th meeting of the Bilderberg Group, the Washington Post, who are founding members of the Bilderberg Group, Katharine Graham, now her son Donald Graham, attending every year, finally are covering it, asking the question, is Bilderberg a conference on world affairs or a powerful global cabal? That has been answered long ago. They are in there starting World War III, and I don't say that lightly. They are doing the Syria issue, and they're also working Russia and China. Bilderberg Bilderberg's own group admits they're meeting on the euphemistic term of the future of democracy in Russia, China, and the Middle East. And you really cannot separate the domino that is Syria from the Iran war. We know they want Brookings and others saying which path to Persia. Meanwhile, they're menacing Putin. They're developing and doing deals in China, and we have record numbers of attendees at Bilderberg from those countries and the related entities in those areas. And so you have the Syrian National Council, Basma Kodmani, meeting with the Bilderbergers. That's the opposition group. They're figuring out how and when to topple Assad there. That could kick off something as bad as World War III.
And install Al-Qaeda.
And install Al-Qaeda, of course, admittedly airlifted from Libya, admittedly so-called ally of the West in the Libyan conflict, now in Syria, while we supposedly still have this war on terror here at home in occupied America. And they've got 3 top Russian people meeting with the Bilderberg at the same time they're meeting on Syria. Are we still connected to the network, guys?
It's fine. Keep going.
We're still going. Gary Kasparov has put himself out there as a Western-controlled opponent to Putin. He's been protesting and getting in staged arrest for years and years. He's meeting there. He's the former chess champion, and he is there to oppose Putin, let him know he's put on notice. Meanwhile, they set up the Russian International Affairs Council 2 years ago. 2 years ago. If you don't recognize that name, it's time to start studying history. The Rhodes Council Group. The Royal International Affairs is the beginning of that Cecil Rhodes Foundation. The Council on Foreign Relations is the American counterpart. They have them in all the other Western countries, and now they've set one up in Russia as well. That head of the Russian International Affairs is here, Igor Ivanov. You've also got Anatoly Chubas. Not saying I can pronounce these Russian names, but they are, again, leading towards war, conflict, total tensions. Meanwhile, a gigantic conference on China. You've got Ching Li of the Brookings Institute, who specializes in China. He's American, but of course of Chinese descent. John Huntsman, not only a little-known GOP candidate for president, but the former ambassador to China, of course, discussing China, and David Shamba of George Washington University discussing China, 2 Chinese counterparts, Ying Fu and Yaiping Huang, the first of which is the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, the other an economics professor. It is all happening this year at Bilderberg. You could see it on the map. If and when World War III happens, you know it started here. We know what happened with World War I. We know what happened with World War II. We know it was concocted to destroy nationalism and put up world government.
British intel even funded Hitler. Again, it's not that Hitler worked for him. They created him.
Yeah, and when this all goes down, you know it happened here. Are they a world affairs debating conference or a global cabal? I think it speaks for itself.
Why'd they want to keep it secret?
These are the criminals working out these deals, and of course, all the American counterparts from the NSA to the Department of Defense, Secretary, all the other departments also here.
Calling for starving them.
And of course, today, Fareed Zakaria has called for starving Syrians. Meanwhile, the writer Alex called out before calling for world government. Gideon Rackman is pretending to play with the carrot rather than the stick, saying for now we should play diplomacy in Syria and just expose the...
act like they gave it diplomacy.
It's another false debate, while Time Magazine says how bad he is for writing that we should go with diplomacy, and they say when military intervention makes sense, you go. If you're a real power, you will intervene when you can.
And put Al-Qaeda in charge.
They are saying go on Syria. This is serious. This is World War III. Syria leads directly to Iran. Russia and China are in the balance.
The Russians say they're going in. That's why they're getting the martial law ready, folks, to cover the banker collapse. They mean to take over Agenda 21.
It is all lined up. You must study the list. You must look up these names and see what they're involved in. It's all right here on the list. It's so incredible.
Instead of knowing all the fake sports facts, learn about the New World Order and all these facts. You're designed for it, America. You can beat these people. They're doing it all in your name.
And meanwhile,